all about Scorpio part 19. It's been almost a month now. I haven't, posted anything about Scorpios. Almost a month or 3 weeks, I guess. And the last recording was really trying to read off some comments about Scorpios having a relationship with a fellow Scorpio. Let's leave it there first. Probably if I, found something much more interesting to talk about in relation to or related to that, I would definitely try to post something about it. But for now, I guess the topic for the All About Scorpio Part 19 audio recording, it's going to be about Scorpio being the loners of the zodiac, because that is so true. When I saw that, the first time I saw it, that was in Pinterest, and I was, trying to search about some facts about Scorpio because I'm a Scorpio. And when I stumbled on this one fact about Scorpios being loners, and I was like, saying to myself, okay, so maybe that really is very common for a lot of Scorpios like myself, because we are loners, and even says there that we are the loners of the zodiac. So the question there is, why are Scorpios loners? And that is the topic for today. And I'm going to read off some important information when I try to give it a search. I have my own or personal reasons for being a loner, but it would definitely help to try to uncover more information about it, and especially try to read some articles about why is it that it is true that most Scorpios are really loners, why they prefer their own company most of the time. I mean, I don't think that Scorpios do not like any company at all. I really, really do not agree with that one. It's just that there are times that we just wanted to have our own space. I guess I've also tried to mention this on the previous recording, that sometimes people misunderstood us. Like, for instance, if we suddenly we can suddenly just, shut ourselves down or suddenly disappear. It doesn't necessarily mean we're actually mad at that person or you did something. That's why we just suddenly, we decided to leave you behind. Not really. It depends on the situation. But I could understand why some Scorpios are actually doing that. It's really for them to recharge. I don't know if it's the same reasons, but for those Scorpio people out there who are listening to my recording right now, I know I'm not leaving or I'm blocking those comments, but you can definitely just PM me if ever you really wanted to get your message or point across. But that's one of the main reasons why a Scorpio sometimes would just prefer, doing everything their own way or having their own space rather, like not really doing everything in their own way. That's not something right there. But let me correct myself. Doing something, something on their own. There are times that they wanted to do something on their own. Not everything, but there are some point in their lives where, or there's some events where they would just suddenly disappear and they would like to be alone, to have their own sacred space or something. One of those reasons, as a Scorpio, I would say that it's also because, we just wanted to recharge. We're very intense people, so there are times he just wanted to be alone and to reflect and to really, get some rest and to recharge and to be more focused on what you wanted to do next or what is it that you're working on right now, things like that. There could be many, many reasons out there, but definitely that's one of those, and that's also based on my personal experience why I do that. Or sometimes for the simple reason, that you just wanted to be alone. Like you just wanted to enjoy yourself and you just wanted to do some things without really being crowded or being, bothered by a lot of people. Sometimes there are times, if a person actually, or a Scorpio person actually suddenly, left their partner, it could either be of two things. Number one, they probably, just got fed up, or they got really sick that they needed space. Or number two, they're not really mad at that person. It's just that, again, they wanted to recharge. There are some things that they just needed to reflect upon. So that is probably why a lot of other zodiac signs, or people born under other zodiac signs, are actually pretty much, they find Scorpios really mysterious or really weird and complex, because we do have that kind of attitude or behavior where we suddenly, we're nowhere to be found. We're suddenly missing in action or what. But that doesn't normally happen. I don't think so. In my case, I don't do that all the time. But if I do, yes, it's probably because a lot of people, even the office, they're actually giving some negative comments about me, that I have my own world, that I'm not the super sociable type, or a loner at times, because most of the time I just smoke and go downstairs, go to the smoking area all by myself, or I would just, I don't even really, you don't see me really going out in groups with a lot of people, unless, of course, it's part of my job. But, it's because really Scorpios are like that. It's not that they hate society or they hate people. It's just that they find it kind of hard, really, if you're being crowded with too many people and there are a lot of talking, a lot of, that's why sometimes it's kind of draining. That's why there are times that Scorpios would prefer to do some things on their own. And to recharge, of course. Anyway, let me actually read some of the comments and some of the information that I have actually discovered or stumbled on this website. Okay, it says here, Scorpios require extreme amounts of alone time, where they withdraw from everyone into complete solitude. Yet they need to bond deeply with people. Seems like a paradox, eh? Which is true. Yeah, I know. It's kind of, ironic. It doesn't make sense. They wanted to be alone, yet they don't want to be, or they have a need or hunger to bond with people. Anyway, romantic mates of Scorpios find this seemingly contrasting need to attach and detach to be rather maddening. How can a sign that aches deeply for intimacy and bonding suddenly cut off contact and go underground? Pluto's in charge, honey. Pay attention. Scorpio's zodiac ruler, Pluto, operates a life and death cycle in all of the affairs of the Scorpio. This closeness and alienation are a part of that. The cycle allows Scorpio to regenerate. It almost always follows some extreme sharing or loss that has depleted Scorpio's emo energy. Anytime there is intense intimacy, there is the possibility that a break will be needed to process it, or explore life solo to find new energy to bring back to the relationship in order to keep it growing. It helps to remember that Scorpios never really detach during these routine trips underground. If they are in fact in love, even when gone, their hearts are still cleaving to the ones that they love. If they're only in deluded lust or infatuation, that too may become clear during a break. In that case, you may not see them again. Okay, relationship impact. On the surface, Scorpio's disappearing act may seem reckless and destructive to a relationship. On the contrary, though, it helps Scorpios sustain the meaningful bond. And while you suffer, Scorpios likely suffer more than their mates. It's not unheard of for Scorpios to use disappearances as a form of self-denial when they fear they're overwhelmed by their love or compulsion to bond too much. And this is so freaking true. I've seen a lot where I have to cut there or to stop there. But I've seen a lot of, especially Scorpio men, doing that. When they suddenly realize, or it suddenly hit them that they're already in love with someone, they would just break off suddenly. Like, they would disappear. And I guess that's what most people would, call it, the hot and cold mood of a Scorpio. I see that a lot in Scorpio men, honestly. If they're actually, especially when they're beginning to fall for someone, like they're really, really in love with this person, then suddenly you can expect that they're just going to leave you behind. Like, they're just going to leave, like, you would like thinking, or you would think to yourself, like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. What the hell is wrong with that guy? Did I do something wrong? Why did he just suddenly drop me off like that? I know, I can understand that, and I've seen that or witnessed that myself, especially in a lot of Scorpio males. So hopefully this would actually give us much more information as to why they do that. But then again, I'm sorry to cut you off, or to cut the thing, or the article that I'm reading here. But I just feel like expressing it, like I could really, really relate, and I could really say that whatever it is that's written in here, it's so true, because I have also experienced it myself, okay? Anyway, let me go ahead and read it from the start. It's not unheard of for Scorpios to use disappearances as a form of self-denial when they fear they're overwhelmed by their love or compulsion to bond too much. Self-imposed distance is a good antidote to the Scorpio's fear of falling too fast or too irrationally. This lessens or increases the closeness according to Scorpio's desires. So I guess that's just one of those reasons why, Scorpio are doing that, especially Scorpio male. Anyway, hold on. In addition to slowing the maddening descent into the clutches of love and lust, distance can simply shake things up and keep the relationship viable. Remember, Scorpio likes intensity and heat without taking a break. The hot Scorpio passion will, without doubt, burn out. One can only love at a high octane level for so long without fatigue. Sooner or later, Scorpio will need to put out the fire and then light the blaze again. Furthermore, Scorpios find non-change to be tedious in relationships. Breaks can skew the path of the relationship just enough to make things a little edgy, a bit new, or make you a little desperate for cuddling. In keeping with transformative plutonic life-death cycle, Scorpios essentially let a relationship die a little in absence so they can come back and revive it again with a new sense of melding, reaffirmation, and dynamism. If the bond can be revived with equal or greater passion, then it really wasn't worth the Scorpio's trouble anyway, was it? Don't be surprised if your relationship with a Scorpio has 8 lives, involving rough breakups and romantic reunions over the years. The Scorpio will go through his or her own death and resurrection during these absences as well. The Scorpio doesn't have the phoenix as its alternate symbol for nothing. Now, giving Scorpio his or her own lair. To ensure your Scorpio is reborn or re-energized properly. That's a term. I said recharge, but yeah, re-energized properly during his or her absence. Be considerate about allowing the Scorpio a personal lair. Example, a quintessential Scorpio den. Every Scorpio needs one that is protected and never invaded during underground time. Well, if you come bearing whipped cream and nipple clamps, you might get in, but don't count on it. A Scorpio needs a defined retreat place. The more private and secluded, the better. That's so true. Since castles with secret hallways and dungeons are hard to come by, Scorpio often chooses any safe, simple mainstream retreat. A hotel, a cave, some mystery hangout no one knows about, another apartment away from you, or another room right there under your nose. I like what it says next here because it's so true, because I think that if ever I'm married someday and I have my own house with my husband, definitely there should be a place where I can actually, be alone. And that's why when I saw the next, thing about Scorpios having their own lair, it's really, it's really surprising, and I could really, smile about it because I could understand it, definitely. So what it says here next if you live together, don't be surprised if a Scorpio keeps a separate hangout or private bedroom aside from your communal bedroom. Even committed Scorpio relationships need those bond break cycles. Next, the Scorpio's aversion to the suffocating presence of others. There you go. Scorpio is an individualistic sign. That's so freaking true. I kept on saying that over and over and over again. They don't travel in herds. It's not that they despise others, but rather that they appreciate the self and find their inner selves fascinating. Sometimes they just want to privately savor the self. That is so true. Can I stop there for a sec and just share my my inputs about that being a Scorpio? Because I can't blame other people looking at it in a negative manner, because that's why, even, at work, I hear a lot of negative feedbacks about me being too much of the loner type or having my own world or something like that. I guess the term that they use here, suffocating presence, that's true. Sometimes I just don't like, being crowded with a lot of people and so noisy and all that. There are times that I just, I could definitely socialize and be with them and talk, but then I would really try to find some time to break away from the crowd and just do things on my own. Or, for instance, when I'm actually, I got used to it. When I'm actually taking a break, I usually take my break alone. It's not that, I hate the people, or it's not that I don't like people. It's just that I could appreciate it even more, unless I'm actually with a person, or definitely not more than two people or two persons out there that I would like to enjoy, some time with. Because the more it is, like if you're actually going out in bunch, like let's say 15 or 20 of us, it's hard for me to really to be myself, or it's either I'm having a hard time really trying to enjoy the moment. I don't know. It's hard to explain. That's why exactly what was written in here and what I just read was so freaking true, and that explained really how I felt. And I can't blame other people, because they would really look at it negatively, especially those people who are actually the sociable butterfly. We can be sociable. Mind you, Scorpios can be sociable. It's just that there's always time for a me time, or there's always a time that they wanted to be alone, right? To recharge and to re-energize themselves. So it's not really being antisocial, unless, of course, they don't like the people around them. They would rather be alone than, be fake and hypocrite and mingle with people they're not really interested about, or they're not comfortable hanging around with those people, because again, Scorpios also value they do value honesty, and they do value privacy and all that. Anyway, my phone is ringing suddenly. Sorry, I gotta get back to you. Hold on. Sorry about that one. I really need to pick up, that call. Anyway, the ringtone of my phone is actually Disclosure, the band called Disclosure, and the song is Help Me Lose My Mind, which is one of my favorite songs from them, aside from Strong, a really, really talented band, by the way. I would really recommend for you to listen to their songs. Anyway, okay, so like what I've been saying earlier, Scorpios really, really value privacy and honesty, so they'd rather be alone than spend some time with people who are fake or, hypocrites. So that's one of the reasons why you would find a lot of Scorpios who are loners. Of course, aside from the fact that they also need to recharge, but that's it. So I can definitely relate to it. But then again, I tell you, Scorpios can be social butterflies. It's just that you need to give them that space to be, alone, to recharge, to re-energize themselves, okay? Anyway, let me read the next one. A Scorpio simply cannot be around 24/7, particularly for days or weeks at a time. They will feel crowded and respond with silence, passivity, or blistering comments designed to needle you away from them. They might just need a couple of hours, or they might need a day, occasionally more. If you notice any of that behavior, for the sake of your relationship, give them keys to some cabin in the woods and promise to be there for them when they get back. Hopefully, Scorpios will subtract themselves before the agitation grows too much. Let them miss you, then they'll be back and you won't be boringly familiar. Next, maybe you should leave if you're really tired of this hot and cold mood, or Scorpios being like that, like they would just suddenly disappear. Well, if you think this is an option, you apparently wish to be stalked and grilled about your whereabouts and who you've been with. Since Scorpios are territorial and like to control their environments and relationships, any plan you have to go off on some spontaneous retreat will trigger Scorpios' capture and tranquilize instincts. Sure, you can appraise Scorpios or Scorpio weeks or months in advance of some rare vacation you need to take, but if you suddenly just vanish, well, you quietly, frankly, have a death wish. As far as Scorpios are concerned, they vanish, not their mates, okay? So what are the things to do before and during a Scorpio's absence? Number 1, reassure them of your love. Scorpios find it hard to withdraw without sensing that the love that they want will be there upon return. Number 2, have new experiences that give you new energy to bring back to the relationship. Scorpios will not stay in a static relationship. Number 3, don't create the appearance that you've bonded with another lover while they were gone. Okay. And number 4, most of all, make their return a passionate event. Plan for your first night back together and enjoy the new spark. So those are actually some of the tips, and I would agree to it. I could see that mostly on Scorpio males, to be quite frank about it, because I have experienced that myself. I've seen a lot of Scorpio males really just trying to break away and then coming back, break away and then coming back again. It's either they're trying to figure out something, or either they're actually afraid of something, afraid of the commitment, or afraid that and just wanting to know what really is about their feelings. Like trying to figure out, do I really love this person? Am I doing this out of lust? Or am I doing this because I just like the person? I feel sorry for the person. It's a case-to-case basis. But I tell you, to be really quite frank, and I'm always frank about it and blunt about it, I've seen a lot of Scorpio males doing this, really, breaking off. And in my case, in my personal experience, most of the guys, Scorpio guys who are these things, either they're, just confused about something, they wanted to reflect, and they wanted to be really sure when they come back, or they're just drained out, and they just wanted to re-energize, Okay, I'm not sure with Scorpio females. I do that myself, but mostly my reasons are because I wanted to re-energize. And because I got tired of, everything was so intense and that everything was so overwhelming. That's why I needed to, get some space for myself. Not particularly because I'm falling for someone and I'm not sure if I like this person or not. I see that mostly on Scorpio guys. Anyway, I hope that helped you a lot. I'll come back. Give me a few seconds because I need to drink some water here. But I'll come back with some of the comments based on what we just read from, probably people who are also Scorpios, or who, just regular readers who can actually relate to it, or probably is currently in a relationship with a Scorpio and could relate to whatever it is that we just read. Okay. So I'll be back. One sec. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back, and someone actually posted it in here. I think that some Scorpios are loners due to their intense feelings and crystal clear vision. Here's how it plays out. When a Scorpio meets someone for the first time, their intuition pricks up an incredible amount of information about the person. So much so that it can be overwhelming and emotionally taxing. That's so true. I can, really agree with what this person was pointing out. Then, because they are human, they will have an emotional reaction to this information that they just uncovered, okay? So, for example, say they meet a person who has killed other people in war as a soldier. Scorpio will intuit the violence and its emotional aftermath in that person. Feel these things deeply and react with, most likely, fear and revulsion. However, since they are smart, they know they cannot express their revulsion openly, especially if they're in a social situation where they have to interact with this person. Their only recourse then is to withdraw. Multiply this scenario by 1,000, and you end up with one tired, frazzled Scorpio who just wants to hide away and watch humanity from a safe distance. Oh my God, yeah, that's so true. They also are aware, once adults, that other people will be perplexed by their intuition and not believe them, question them, or even label them as crazy. So they become closed-mouthed over time as they realize that others do not see as clearly as they do. For some Scorpios, the gift of intuition is a double-edged sword, which they would gladly give up if they could. I hope that helped. I'm a Scorpio Sun, Western Zodiac, Scorpio Mercury. I'm very familiar with a person with Moon and Scorpio placement in both Western and Eastern Zodiacs. I like this person's comment and input about it. It could, he was or she was, whoever this person was really pretty good at, sharing his or her input. It could be many reasons why Scorpios are doing that. And what he was pointing out or what she was pointing out in there is possible. Definitely possible. May not be the example that he or she stated, what if you found out that this person you're dealing with killed other people in a war? Yeah, but it could be a different situation where, because they're very intuitive and because they can see in crystal clear vision, sometimes, they just need to withdraw because of the information that they actually just uncovered. And I could actually relate with that as well, but unfortunately I cannot disclose some information because it's very, very private. Nothing to do with me per se. I mean, nothing really to do with me, but another Scorpio person that I know who has that kind of like attitude where when they found out about something about someone, they can definitely withdraw out of fear or out of because people would not really understand what they actually saw. It's not going to be as easy as, they have a clear vision about it, but other people wouldn't. It's hard to explain, but yeah, that's why I can easily understand whatever this Scorpio person is saying in here. Anyway, off to the next comment. Based on what we just read, let's see, what they think about it. It says here, simply because they're always afraid of betrayals, like solitude, so much cause of introversion, distressful, selective when it comes to sex. People don't understand them easily, want to think outside the box, and don't want to follow the society and its norms. And Scorps are pervs. What? Seriously, which society doesn't accept at all. They want to stay away from this physical world and would build their own in their brains. These may be the reasons of their loneliness. I would agree to the other part. I'm not sure about the perv thing. I could not relate to that, of course. But it is true that it's also for the simple reason that they're afraid of betrayals. They're afraid because they find someone very distressful, so they'd rather just, try to withdraw from a group or, just suddenly detach themselves from someone if it's not a group, right? But I don't know about the Scorpios being pervs. I know that Scorpio is known as the sexual sign in the zodiac, but I don't know about that, really. Really, I can't relate with that. Anyway, next comment. It says here, We are not loners as people think. We are choosy when it comes to sharing our feelings, emotions with other people. We don't trust people easily, and that's because of previous experiences. That's so true. This makes us cautious with strangers. Because of this, people think we have, an attitude, or we are loners, or we are shy. But when we trust anyone completely, we share each and everything with him or her and can't do anything for that person. I would also agree with Agassi's comment in here. Agassi is actually a Scorpio too, and a self-confessed introvert. Okay. Next comment, and probably, the last one for this recording would be, Scorpios are negative zodiac signs, but they aren't the only ones. Scorpios have a 38% amount of luck. But any Scorpions reading this, don't fret. Even with that amount of luck, they're still quite lucky, just not a lot. Scorpios are very mysterious and have a hard time trusting others. But once they get to know a person, they're very, very loyal. They're always trying to unravel life's mysteries and can be tough at times, but are very determined anyway. As said before, they are in the negative zodiac group. This is what I got. Thanks for the reading. Anyway, in closing, or before we wrap up this recording, whatever that person said, the last one that I just read, that's so true. One of the pessimistic signs of the zodiac is a Scorpio. On top, or probably on top of the list, would be a Virgo. And I tell you, my sister is a Virgo, and I've dealt with Virgos who are very much, it takes a lot before they can admit, but they would really admit that they're also very, very pessimistic. So there are some trust issues as well. They have to be sure about something before they can trust someone, or they can really open up to someone. They're very logical. That's the difference. I'm not saying Scorpios are not logical, but when it comes to the most logical signs, that would be the air signs and the Geminis, and also even Virgo, probably because they have Mercury in their planet. But Virgos are like that. They're very, very much logical, and they're very much careful when it comes to trusting people as well. They're one of those top signs, top 3 or top 5, if not the top 1 sign, who's very known to be very pessimistic. And surprisingly, Scorpio is also part of the signs who are actually very pessimistic in nature. So, it's something that we need to handle or overcome, okay? Anyway, I really appreciate you. Listen to the recording. I'll come up with another topic. I'll try to do a part 2 of that Scorpio to Scorpio relationship. But right now, the topic for this recording is all about Scorpios being the loners, and why is it that some people cannot understand or tries to misunderstand them. Again, before I end this or wrap this recording, just wanted to let other people know, and of course other Scorpio people listening to this recording would agree. Scorpio, it depends on the scenario, really. It really depends on the situation. A Scorpio can withdraw or detach themselves from you, either because they don't want you anymore, they found out something about you, or it's because they just don't find that they're comfortable hanging out with you, or again, they uncovered something that they don't like and would really want to just detach themselves completely. Or number 2, they need to figure something out. They need time for themselves to think, to reflect, and it doesn't necessarily mean they hated you for that. So they just needed me time in order for them to reflect on things. And once they're ready and once that they've come up with a decision, they would definitely let you know. Otherwise, if they don't respect you, they would just get away and just poof, vanished, okay? Another, and this is just my personal opinion of things, being a Scorpio myself. Another thing would be, it's because of, they're not just really comfortable, really, being in a group of a large crowd or a large group where they feel suffocated. So, they can socialize with people, but there are times where you would see them having that me time and just wanting to be alone with themselves. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Scorpios are actually just loners and are antisocial, because that's a different thing. Okay. But one thing is for sure, they would definitely spend most of their time with the people that they trust, with the people that they're really comfortable with. And it will take a long time for you to be in that list. Okay. In order for you to become that trustworthy for them, or to be around their circle of real friends. Okay. Anyway, again, thank you so much for listening. I'll come up again with another topic about Scorpios. I appreciate it, everything you've been listening to it. I can see that on my YouTube, and I appreciate all of the support, and I appreciate you guys subscribing as well. I really appreciate that. Again, I'm not taking credit of the things that I've just read. These are articles that I found from different websites, and the credit goes back to them, not me. I just wanted to share my own inputs and opinion, being a Scorpio person as well, and how I can actually relate with the topic, and probably how other Scorpios listening to this recording can also relate with that, or what their inputs about it. So I have to block some comments, of course, but if you really are interested in asking some questions, or if you're interested to share your inputs about some things, you can just definitely give me a short message or PM me. And again, I appreciate everything for you guys subscribing and listening to the audio recordings that I've been posting for the past couple of months already. I think even last year, I started with last year. Anyway, I gotta go. So thank you. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.